to save this ecosystem, do something about it, and that's why we are here. The presentation outline is this. We just have a brief introduction. We talk about what Lagos Marine Ecosystem is all about. What is our proposal? What are we proposing? And what are the expected outcomes and deliverables for this program? So we all know Lagos. It's a mega city that is fast developing in terms of infrastructures, in terms of industrialization. Lagos is growing, and the population is not also helping. We are growing at an alarming rate. The land size is there. However, apart from the land size, it is small. Percentage of this land size is water. Everywhere you go, there's water. Any little rain, Lagos is what? Is with water. We are naturally blessed with water, and we don't want our blessing to become a curse. And that is why we want to take the approach. So if you look at this is Lagos water bodies as it is. Most of us are very familiar with the Lagos Lagoon. That is the one at the center. But apart from the Lagos Lagoon, we also have the Lekki Lagoon, we have the Five Cowrie Creek, we have the Commodore Channel, we have the Olugi Lagoon, we have the Yewa River, the Badagry Creek, and the Omo. These are the water systems that flows into Lagos, which means apart from the activities that happen in Lagos, most of the tributary rivers that comes from the other parts of the country empties into what? Into the Lagos Lagoon. So apart from the activities of Lagosians, activities of neighboring states also what? Affect Lagos. And this is why it is important for us to do something. So the marine system, the marine ecosystem of Lagos, it's a huge place for a lot of investment activities, shipping and maritime activities. The port is there, generates a lot of money for the government, for the states. We have a lot of petroleum activities, fishing, tourism. Everybody wants to go to Takwa Bay. We want to do our cruise on the Lagos Lagoon. However, these activities that there are organisms inside this water body that needs to be protected. If we decided to remove all cockroaches and remove all houseflies from the earth, there will be a distorted balance, and that will affect the human being. And that is why we are saying, do we want to see a change in the ecosystem, or we want to have a better in it? Lagos Lagoon and all the water bodies have been affected by a lot of things. Dredging and reclamation. Dredging is a commercial activity that Lagos is known for, and it will continue, whether continuous dredging or purpose dredging. There's no way they will not dredge the port channel because it will be silted. And when it is silted, it will be dredged so that ships can move in. So when we dredge, the turbidity increase. When the turbidity increase, what happens? It affects the fishes. It affects a lot of benthos organisms, and this can have ecological change in it. Apart from that, tank farm, when we do our washing, if we don't do it properly, even if there are incidents or minor incidents, it affects the ecosystem. Water transportation, Lagos it's on the rise. On the rise because the waterways is now a booming business. The rate at which container terminals is growing. It's good for business, but yes, as far as it's good for business, is it good for ecosystem? How do we balance business and what? And the ecosystem is something that each and every one of us must look at. Apart from industrial effluents, wastewater effluents, domestic effluents, people still discharge directly into each of these water bodies in Lagos State. So whether you discharge your raw sewage in Ajekule or you discharge it in Ojodubega, every water ends into what? Into the Lagos Lagoon. So which means these activities will affect us. So this is a major concern for us, and pictures are abound around everywhere for each and every one to see in Lagos. hydrocarbons, petroleum products. When it rains, just try to see the kind of water system that it's in our drain that enters into it. It is filled with petroleum products, materials, and all this enters into this water system that we are to what? Protect. So what do we do? What do we do? And one major thing why we feel it is very, very important for us to take this course together as human being, not even as an investor, not even as government. There was a study done, a publication, and we learned that the Lagos Lagoon that we all move where we're on the terminal bridge, we see the water and it's good. But under, there's a study by this Professor Adeogun from the University of Ibadan that shows that some of the aquatic organisms we are taking from Lagos, from the Lagos Lagoon, are high pollutants in them. Some of the fishes, some of the bentos are accumulating pollutants that are detriment to humans' life. And this is a pointer to us. This is a pointer to us as a government. It's a pointer because we know that each and every one of us continue to take these fishes. We eat them. Everybody like fresh fish, whether pepper soup or not. We like it on our table. But you will not be concerned when we start seeing abnormalities in these species, and these abnormalities tends to get to each and every one of us. So when we know this, what is the next thing for us to do? As governments, as private sector, as each and every organization that takes sustainability as a goal. So what are we going to do? So we decided to have a proposal. And the proposal is, let's assess the Lagos Lagoon that each and every one of us look into as the source for our business. It's the source for our business, it's the source for ecosystem. The tourism attraction it gives to us. Let us see what is in the water, what is in the sediments that we found in them. Let's test some of the fishes and some of the microinvertebrates inside the Lagos Lagoon and all the water bodies around Lagos and see, are they pointing things to us that we are not seeing? Because it is better for you to know that there is a problem to quickly find a solution. Not that one day we wake up and the whole Lagos Lagoon just turns blue or it turns red. And it becomes, everybody starts running around. And that's what most countries does. They do continuous monitoring. And when there's a change in what they are monitoring, they know that there's a problem. So when we monitor, we'll be able to tell which sector of the industry is giving us this pollutant so that we can what? We can do a proper check. For now, most of the standard we are using in Lagos and we're also using in Nigeria is World Health Organization standard. We don't have local-based standard. And for us to have a local-based standard, we must have our baseline. So when we have our baseline, it will enable us to do a proper standard and guidelines. And this is what we want to do. We want to assess the pollutant pathway. How are these water coming into Lagos? We are saying the water bodies are polluted. It may not even be most of the industry that are in Lagos. It may be coming from the other parts, channels into Lagos. And why are we blaming the industry that are what? That are in Lagos? If you look at plastics now, I was part of a study. We felt that most of the plastics comes from within Lagos. To our surprise, our drone, the drone we flew, we found out that most of this plastic emanates even from other parts of the states, because we have to put some caches and indicator in some of the drains that enters into the Lagos Lagoon, and we don't see these plastics. Dolphin Estate, Osborn, we expect to have a lot of plastic from there because most of the waste come from Obalende and it passes through Dolphin and it passes through Osborn before it enters into Lagos Lagoon at Adeniji Adele. But however, Dolphin has a catchment. They are packing all the plastic. So we expect that all this plastic that's coming from Obalende will go into the Lagos Lagoon. But Dolphin management, they set up they recruited about 5 people that cleans the plastic every day. So which means apart most of the plastic we expect that will come from Obalende that enters through Osborn into the Lagos Lagoon are being removed by them. How do we get the other plastic? We now decided to come to Isheri, Ikorodu Axis and monitor. And we found out that most of this plastic comes from Opik area. Goes through Isheri and it enters into the Lagos Lagoon. So sometimes we feel the industrial activities is in Lagos and we expect that the pollutant will come from Lagos. However, most of these pollutants can be upstream from other parts. So this is part of what the study will tell us. So when we do these studies, we'll be able to know the pathway by which most of these pollutants enter into the Lagos Lagoon, so that we won't be using the mention of EDIC for the leg. So this is very, very important. So what are we going to do? We're going to collect water samples, we're going to collect sediment samples, and we are also going to collect aquatic organisms. We are going to take fishes, we are going to do bioassay, we are also going to take microinvertebrates from the Lagos Lagoon and test pollutants in them. So this is what we are going to do, and we are going to do laboratory analysis. So this is not going to, we are not taking effluent from industries. We are not taking effluent from industry. We are not taking discharge from any industry. The main purpose of this study is not to go after any industry or not to go after any company. We are not after any sector. What we are going after is what is the health of the Lagos Lagoon. So if somebody wants to eat fresh fish in the lagoon, we want to be sure that what I'm eating is fresh. I'll give you an example. Crayfish from Nigeria, before you get crayfish from Nigeria, before you can sell crayfish that is harvested in most of the coastal parts of Nigeria, it has to be certified by the Nigerian Institute of Marine and Oceanography before you can sell it in Netherlands or before you can sell it in any of the European country. Why? They want to be guaranteed that the crayfish that you're fishing in Nigeria is toxic free. And this gives most of these companies a good leverage, countries a good leverage that yes, what we are buying from Nigeria is also very, very good. So if you want tourist industry, the tourism sector to grow, why don't we have boating activity around Lagos Lagoon? Most of the people said, no, how can I go and do boating activity in Lagos? The water is dirty. But if we carry out this study and we periodically show people the level of pollutants in this water, the confidence of people will continue to get back. So basically, we are going to do physiochemical activities. What is the lead level? What is the heavy metal level? What are the basic parameters that we normally do? Also do microbial activities. Apart from industrial activities, most people discharge raw sewage, raw feces into the Lagos Lagoon. Is this affecting the water quality? Is this affecting this? These are things we should do. Also, toxic and bioaccumulation. What is the toxic potential of each of these, whether sediment or whether fishes in the Lagos Lagoon? These are things we will do. So after doing that, we will assess the quality of the effects. Establish a baseline. So we want to establish a baseline. We've never had a baseline for most of these parameters when it comes to water body. In Lagos, we neglect the water area, but now a lot of people carry out studies on air quality. Even in the next 6 months, we'll be getting daily air quality level in Lagos because our sister agency, ASEPA, we have air quality monitoring stations around the state. So we'll be giving daily air quality level to help people who are asthmatics. Okay, the air quality in this part of Lagos will be this. Because we have a baseline, we have been doing that study for the past 3 years, and that's exactly what we want to do for Lagos Lagoon also. So when we do that, we are going to generate a data. Now, okay, this part of the lagoon is dead. Dead in the sense that it's above the threshold by which it should be. If you go outside the country, there are places where they have classification for their water. The water you can bath in, the water, you can do this. We don't have this in this part of the world. And generating data like this will help us to have something like that. So determine spatial distribution. How are these things distributed? Where is it flowing into? Then we now decided to facilitate a dialogue with the private sector. Okay, this is what we have. It is polluted, it is not polluted. Okay, how can we make it this? A lot of countries come up with, we want our water to be blue. You go to Portugal, you can stand and see the bottom of what? Of the lagoon, because they keep on a tight regulation of the kind of effluent that can what? That can come in. And everybody wants to have tourism. You want to go to Portugal, you want to go to Spain, because they have a program in place. And that's exactly what we want to do for Lagos State. Now, also, so we can't do that alone. We can't do that alone. Government cannot do that alone. And that's why we have this. We call the stakeholders, the private sector, who we felt the activities are one way or the other related to the marine system in Lagos. We're also going to have another set of meeting with federal government agencies that we know: Nigerian Port Authority, NIMASA, Nigerian Navy. There's a time we normally monitor with the Nigerian Navy also. And after that, we also meet with the academicians. A lot of studies are carried out on different sectors in Nigeria, and you don't see the publication in Nigeria because most of our academicians will publish it in international journal, and it is not available for government to use for policy formulation and data. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to have a stakeholder that will be encompassing it, to include both the town and the gown. Yeah, funding is very, very important. We know a lot of organizations are doing CSR. Yeah, but most of our CSR are CSR that people want to see. But for you to do a study, to do research, you may not see it, but they are very, very important. Data generation is very, very important. So we need to do the funding. After the funding, we'll do a pre-assessment. Like my director said the other time, when we do this, we normally form a subcommittee. The subcommittee will include the private sector and government agency that will have a collaboration. So we want to do a pre-assessment. Let's do a pre-assessment of the whole lagoon. What is happening there? Which sector should we have? Can we have an equipment that will give us an instant monitoring? So if we put our sensors at different locations, while we are in the office, it gives us a continuous results that everybody can be trusted. So, we hope that if we are able to get funding right, the implementation of this program will start by January. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.